No doubt, one incident that has reshaped the aviation industry in the life of this administration is the June 3rd, 2012 Dana air crash, which killed all passengers and crew on board. 12 months after, the dust is yet to settle as issues of compensations are still being sorted.
The cause was put to Dana exactly 20th of June 2012, 20th of June 2012. Up to date, all I expect any reasonable organization is to go and do their findings and come up with something.
In fact, I can tell you categorically that in one of the cases where negotiations have been completed, $100,000 compensation has been paid to the particular resident. Another resident, the Pastor Momi that you spoke about, has received initial payment of $30,000, even though negotiations are still ongoing.
What government is doing is to ensure that all those who are due to collect will be in a position to collect. And we're working with Dana. At a point, we've given them time frame. When they fail to, and all regularities are put in place, we'll sanction them.
The Aviation Master Plan, developed under the current administration, seeks, amongst other things, to institutionalize world-class safety and security standards, develop infrastructure, reform institutions, develop capacity, increase professionalism, transform key airports into a network of domestic and international hubs, grow domestic airlines and financial stability, develop airport cities, and create national carriers. Also, in the 2013 budget, the federal government removed taxes on aircraft spares, a decision industry players believe is a step in the right direction. On March 12, 2013, President Goodluck Jonathan sacked the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Dr. Harold Demoren. That may not be news. What is of concern to employees in the sector is the vacancy that exists in such a sensitive agency.
We're not happy that the regulatory agency is without a confirmed chief executive, director general. Like you know, they are the policeman, and then it's expected that their authority should be, enforced to ensure that we don't cut corners in the industry.
He also believes there is too much government interference in the sector, a position the EMSMAN at the Federal Airports Authority disagrees with.
It all depends on what people see, but with us, if intervention is positive, if leadership by the minister, leadership that drives you is intervention, well, so be it. I think you can see the outcomes of that. The problem is when there's interference and it's negative.
In spite of mixed reactions, one progress that can be physically felt in the industry is the airport expansion and remodeling project, which is in its first phase to match the increase in passenger traffic.
For me, there is nothing like expansion. I think these people that do this thing, they also travel. They should judge themselves. They know what is happening in other countries.
It's a very good development, and I think this has been overdue. You go to other countries, even smaller countries than Nigeria, you notice how things work seamlessly.
You can't build airports and go to sleep. And that's what we did in the last 30-something years. We built airports. We built, at the time, what I think must have been Africa's best and newest network of airports. And so the upgrading and remodeling we're doing now is to provide modern service levels, provide the capacity to contain the growth and the demand for air transport services. Passengers suffer a lot, but we are focused on the outcome and trying to do this as quickly as possible so that we'll get past this phase and we'll have new infrastructure.
We're commencing full area radar control. And NCA and NAMA are collaborating to ensure with the airlines that this is done for the benefit of the airline, the flying public, and making our airspace utilization more efficient and effective.
The revised National Civil Aviation Policy by the federal government also seeks to better the lot of the industry. As the Aviation Ministry insists on achieving its roadmap, the true judgment of evaluation still lies with industry players and passengers. Henry Ogunjimi, Channels Television News.
From our Abuja studios by Nnamdi Udoh, who is the Managing Director of NAMA. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, yes, you did say a thing or two in that report, which just played now. But if you go through all that has been done, and a year after, would you say you're satisfied with the steps you've taken so far to ensure that that kind of scenario doesn't happen again? I'm sure he got that question. All right, I said, with the steps that you've taken so far, because we heard you in that report, would you say you're satisfied with the steps the aviation sector has taken to ensure that that scenario doesn't play itself out again? What steps have the sector taken so far to ensure that this kind of scenario doesn't play itself out again?
Thank you so much. Well, like we have always said, safety is not a destination. It's a process. And I must say that we are very satisfied because we are going like a chain of a problem that is solved link by link. The process is ongoing and must be sustained. Whatever we are doing now is building and renewing existing regulation, infrastructure, and manpower development. So I am very satisfied.
Okay, but some of the complaints that, there still are complaints, as you might have heard in that report. They talk about compensation, and there are those who will be completely surprised that by now we're still talking about compensation.
Well, I hope you're there. But the issue of compensation, you will understand, is a whole lot of issue. Identification, process, and also indemnity by the insurance company. All we have done is to make the regulation robust enough, right from the day this incident happened, ACA and, of course, the entire aviation family have been on top of identifying families and making sure correct personalities are the ones that are indemnified. Most people also wouldn't like to tell the public that they've gone to court because they would expect bigger or larger compensations. Some of them have even gone to court in the United States. You will equally know that even the aviation ministry and parastatals, including me, lost staffs dear to us, families. So we're equally involved in ensuring that these compensations come through as fast as possible. It will be a double tragedy to indemnify the wrong persons when this kind of thing happens. So the process is ongoing, and we're equally fast-tracking it by giving ultimatum to insist that this be done at this point in time, or sanctions will follow, just like we heard from the Honorable Minister.
You know, looking at that particular report, what comes to mind is what we've not been able to say in clear-cut terms as to the cause of that particular crash. Do you have an inkling of what the AIB has come up with?
Well, I want to believe that I lost you at some point. You're talking about saying the ultimate cause of the crash. Let me say categorically, in accident investigation, there is no assumption. You had our dear distinguished engineer, Group Captain Obakolo last night, say accident investigation must investigate ultimately close all ends and take a position so that we learn from that accident. We have recreated the accident using the radar picture, reading voice, and all other scenarios. But they now must draw conclusions and publish. It must be correct. The manufacturers are involved, the regulatory authorities of the manufacturing country is involved, and of course Nigeria is involved. So all these, some accidents take a short time to conclude, some take a longer period to conclude. In these 153 passengers, there is no one on the scene account by either the pilot or even the passengers. So we must analyze and deduce to the barest detail to come up with a final conclusion. So it looks like it's taking long, but it must be done correctly.
Well, that's a reassurance that almost every Nigerian would want to get. But looking at what he did say yesterday, that after the Bellevue and Susuluso crashes, well, it took a whole long time before we saw this with the Dana. What have we put in place to actually, well, mitigate a recurrence of such disasters?
The other day I was on the tube, I made it categorically clear. Anytime you fly now, and a pilot says to you, oh, we overhead Enugu airport, we're unable to land because you just arrived and found out that the weather is bad. Remain cool, remain calm. Finally you land. Walk up to the pilot and inquire why he did not get destination weather. Did he not get brief of weather before departure? Because it's now mandatory for every pilot to go and get from the Aeronautical Information Services Operational Office weather briefs, en route and destination, to be able to fly comfortably and arrive there safely. So it is not magic, it is not anything other than safety dynamics. You just have to deploy to ensure you operate safely. Because around us in this part of the world today, we are as compliant as any other part of the world as far as meteorological information is concerned. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency recently got ISO 9001 certified. So you must be sure that the statistics, that the data that our meteorological agencies give us are correct. And our air traffic controllers will not clear you into a weather that is not determined by pure information from Nigerian Meteorological Agency. And that is one aspect. Secondly, you will notice the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has strengthened its general aviation arm, has strengthened its ramp inspection, ensuring that airlines do maintenance as required and properly supervised. And even if you are about to fly out of an airport and have a technical issue, the air traffic controller will demand a certification from NCA before they clear you to take off. Sometimes this causes delay, and Nigerians wonder why the aircrafts are delayed. The onus is on the airline